We'll let the selectmen decide who goes first.
Okay, it's October 17th. I'm going to call the Selectmen's meeting to order. First order of business is to salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public input? Seeing none, I'm going to go to the approval of the minutes. The first is September 26th regular meeting, 2:30 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, I read these minutes and they look in order. I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And next is the okay, this non-public meeting of September 26th.
These minutes look accurate. I move that we accept them as written and remain sealed.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
And the last is the Selectmen's regular meeting of October 3rd.
And these minutes appear accurate. I move that we accept them as written.
Second?
I'm sorry, I didn't read these as closely as I should.
Well, you weren't here for this one.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Making it. Okay, the first item of business is Jack Parsons.
Morning.
Good morning.
So I have 131 building permits, 41 new homes, so I've done 523 inspections. If you noticed out front, they've not fixed the walk this weekend and did a very nice job. I'm shutting the water off to the cemetery and the garden this week, so it'll be off. And then, I don't know if you know about Gilbert Road.
I'm well aware of
it. Yeah,
I don't know if you want, it's nothing to do with me, it's an ordinance, so it's actually the police, but do you think that I should get Jim to make a sign up?
Yes.
Post a
I do.
sign to start with, and
Absolutely.
I think I know a couple people that do, I'm gonna call them and tell them that they can't use it if you want me to do that, it's totally up to you.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Notify anyone that you can.
yeah, so,
A sign would be definitely
but a
appropriate.
sign would help a lot, so.
And you talked to the property owner.
I talked to the neighbor, yeah.
And he's gonna let us know if
He sent me a picture and it showed the side of the barge and there was no name on it. And the dump truck that was backed into the water, there was a branch in front of the door and I couldn't see any name on the truck. So I think I know whose it is, but so I'm just gonna give him a call. So
Yes, I appreciate it if you would address that.
Seems appropriate.
okay, that's all I have.
And by comparison, the new homes in 2021, how many did we do?
34.
34, so we're up a lot.
I know a couple more still coming, so
Great.
and they're not cheap anymore.
No. Thank you.
Yep.
The next is Kathy Pounder, Jen Coulter, is she coming in?
Yeah, she will.
Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, I figure we could do Tom
Yeah.
first and then do Jen, if that's okay with you.
I'm sorry?
Do Tom first and then do Jen, if that's okay with you.
We're all on the same line.
It's the party line. Good morning, gentlemen. So I'm just here to update, ask questions. We had put together kind of a proposal for the new budget season. Both two things. One, the managed services, and also we had given. Do they have? Yeah, the
I
list.
gave them a package, whether they looked at it. I don't
Okay. The budget, you know, for what systems, it's not on there. I think it's something that Kathy had given in the
I
past.
gave you, I gave them one just, I gave you in your green folders, you should have the budget for 4150. there is a spreadsheet, trying to give them.
Yeah, just, you know, we went through, kind of did a 5-year plan of, you know, what we should look at replacing. And so whether or not, you know, how that slides into the budget, whether it starts with, you know, the fourth quarter of 2022, and I'm not sure what you came up with, nothing.
Okay, so,
Yeah, I have 5 here, which one?
4150,
Financial
because we're
administration.
gonna go over them all.
And we'll have the colored sheets in the back.
And there's a colored sheet, it just kind of tells you, that was I just put it in the package so you realize he's keeping track of things. Like he said, giving us a 5-year plan. Now, for 2023, 2024, there's a number of them. There's, we have 6 computers that need to be updated and now this is just the town offices. The fire and the police are gonna present their own. And,
But everything is on this sheet.
yeah, everything's broken up for
This
you.
is combined of all 3.
But, so it would be 6,000 for the computers and then 8 for the server. Talking to Tom, decided to kick the server out to 2024, so we're not, you know, hitting the budget so hard. So, under 4132, 680 on your budget sheets. 41
32.
32, 680 on the second page, second one down. That is where computer maintenance and IT supports are in your budget. See?
Yeah.
There's a number of things. And,
I
so,
don't have that number.
you have it in front of you now?
It says 35,560.
Yes,
This is
okay.
the,
That's with the Black Point.
okay, so this is the managed services off of that number. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see, yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm trying to explain to them.
41,560. You know the number you're talking?
It says 30,
I
it's
got
on,
35.
yeah, that's correct, 35,
Plus
560.
another $6,000 from the front page.
Right.
All right.
Front page is the replacement of equipment, which is 6,000. And then his services with Black Point Cyber, which he's gonna explain. If you do not choose to go with the Black Point Cyber, then the budget for 4150, 32,680 would be 31,240. But he wants to explain the Black Point Cyber to you, it's up to you if you choose it.
Well, yeah, I think we need to hear about it.
Yeah?
Yeah,
That's why
so-
he's here.
So the software is, it's a complete SOC, a security operations center, right? So we'll drop agents on the computers and then there'll be, there's a company, Blackpoint Cyber, that watches all of the network 24/7. We're watching it, we're getting alerts all day long, they're watching it 24/7. And if something goes wrong at 3 o'clock in the morning, they'll stop it. They will get more data and also forward more data to us than we can possibly analyze. We don't have a team, these are military people that they've, you know, started the business years ago. And so they have, it's called the MDR, right? It's a managed detection and response solution. So if anything goes wrong, they can stop it right at that point. If it's something benign, they just send us an email and say, hey, this is going on, you should take a look at it. If it's something important, they'll actually stop it right at that point. So it's, in my mind, we use it. The Tacoma Police Department uses it. There's a few other of our clients that use it. It's for the spend. You know, like if we pick up I think it's like $360 a month, you have an entire team watching your network 24/7.
What level of cybersecurity do we have now?
Right now, you have us watching it with threat hunter, right? So we've got it locked down so that they can't, so theoretically, any new apps can't download, which is, that would typically be an interaction, right? Someone clicked on an email link or something to that effect during working hours. Then we have Sentinel-1, EDR, which gives us telemetry of whether there's a virus on the network, something got in. What the gap is a kind of lay of the land business tools, right? So there's things that you can do on a computer that won't trigger any kind of a threat because it doesn't look like a threat, right? So I'm hacked into the system, I'm using native Windows server tools, and I'm laterally moving through the network with a skilled person, and they'll detect that, whereas the other tools will not. So that's the gap, that's the space that, you know, we have concern, and it gives us 24/7. We don't, you know, that's not, we stop working around 6, and then we start working I get in at 4 o'clock in the morning, so this, you know, so we have some gap there. And then, I mean, if you read, you know, that most of these things that are happening on systems, you know, and if you read the news, like everything happens on a holiday, on the weekend, you know, when everybody's relaxed and the IT is not, you know, fully engaged doing their stuff. So that's kind of a gap space that we're in. There's some other benefits for potential for some businesses because they can get a little bit of a break on their insurance, but where you have Primex, that's not the case. They don't. Primex, go ahead, yes.
Okay, just so I got the math right. With the cybersecurity black point in, that line item is 35,560.
Correct.
Yeah.
Without it, it's 31,240.
That's like
So
36,
$4,320 is what it's costing.
yeah, it's $360 a month.
And this is gonna protect us from ransomware?
Yeah,
Off hours?
Exactly, we're trying to, right.
We don't have 24/7 protection right now, is what you're saying.
The software is 24/7, people watching your network 24/7.
Because you need somebody to react if an alarm triggers.
Right, we have AI, right, and it's happened before, right, where our software will try and detect lateral movement and then shut that machine down, and then basically it'll stop the network. It's happened before. And then they'll call and say, hey, I can't get on the internet. We're like, okay, well, that's because the software shut the machine down. We can log in through a tunnel through the application and then analyze, take care of what's on that system with like the malware or whatever happened, get rid of it, and then turn the system back on. We can do that through AI, but it's when those tools don't, you know, detect it, because it's not, it's so automatic, you know, so we don't have a person watching that potential tradecraft where they're just using natural tools that are built into the system. So the cost, like, yeah, it's $4,000, you know.
Annual fee, $1,000.
Well,
It's
it's
so much
$360 a
of
month, so, you
Right,
know.
and, but just for the benefit of the people that may not understand how ransomware works, maybe give a brief explanation.
Sure, yeah, well, one thing, it's super expensive, right? So, I mean, you have, the insurance, but that's not necessarily, you know, always the best plan. So ransomware can happen from 80%, 90% of the time, it's gonna happen from an email link. So an email is gonna come in, someone's gonna click it, and then the system will get infected. So then what would trigger automatically is that if it was super malicious, you clicked it, our software that we have now installed on the network should lock your system down and stop that from happening. If it's less benign and it gets into the network, spend some time, it takes, sometimes they'll stay in your network for 90, 180 days before they'll start detonating anything, and then that's when we might not catch it. Whereas
What are the potential costs to the town if something like this were to happen?
Well, the ransom can be anywhere from 500,000 to 2 million, you know, and that's gonna be then that's gonna go to, you know, then you have lawyers involved, you know, for both parties. We're gonna get the insurance company involved, Primex is gonna get involved, and they may have to get, you know, they're gonna do a lot of this, but then it's gonna be mediators, to negotiate with the ransomware companies. But what would be, so let's assume the best case scenario that the insurance company covered everything that needed to be covered on your side, my side, no insurance, you know, worst case scenario, right? All our insurance companies took care of this. What if you were down for 3 months? Because we can't even if we can rapid response to come here, like, you know, we have your systems restore, your servers, the PD, fire department, and the town office servers are restoring to a system in my office. So I can actually spin up a virtual server and give you access to them within an hour. But that's not gonna give you full, that's just server data access that you need. So and the insurance companies are gonna require that we don't come in and just start going crazy, erasing everything, because they wanna know what happened. So it's just that downtime. So that could be, even if the best case scenario that everybody paid, the insurance companies paid everything, or we just got all the data back restored, we still have that downtime. So that's the cost that would be hard to recover.
I think $4,000 is a very, very small price to pay for the level of protection that we're gonna get.
It makes me sleep at night. I mean, it's just hands down, and
Primex has been very involved, working between me and Tom. They've been requesting a lot of things, and a lot of towns aren't doing it, and
yeah, Primex, with the municipalities, it's a little better. Like if I have to go to a business, one of my commercial customers, that does government contracts, they don't have an option. They just have to buy this. It's not an option, but because the insurance companies won't insure them if they don't buy it. I don't know if I want to say public, Primex will, because Primex, as an entity covering governments, can't regulate what you have to buy. They want you, they beg you to buy it, because then they don't have to pay, hopefully a ransom. And this company, they even have like an insurance arrangement where if you have their software, then you can get an insurance. They're one of their brokers, and you get a much better deal because you have that much in your network. So there's not that. But the insurance companies, we just filled out the form. All these questions are on there. Whether or not you say yes or no to them, they can't tell you no, that you can't get insurance because it's the government. But they love to see it, and I do work with Corey and Adam, the company that they have as like their breach response company is Adam Group. And
Homeland Security, as you know, will come in and do an audit.
absolutely. So the FBI will come. So what we would like to do, we'll start working on, is schedule like a tabletop exercise, because what we really want to have is, like something happens, we need a tier, right, of who to call. All the phone number, everybody needs a playbook, right? So when we can sit down and, just have that playbook and just do a run through. Who are we gonna call? What are we gonna tell them? What are we gonna do from there? What's the response? What are we gonna not touch? And how will the restore process happen? We've already done documentation, like, that we're testing your backups on a daily basis. They're saying, are you testing them quarterly? We're testing them every day. We will know when your backups won't restore, because we're doing that test restore every day in our office. So we have that. And now we just need to kind of lay out, exactly all the phone numbers, who to call. Like we know Primex, we know Corey, we know the Adam, we know you can call us, then who's in charge here. But further would be, I'm not sure who to call, like if we need to get the FBI involved. Obviously I have my insurance company, so we have it on a list. But to do that tabletop exercise would be a good idea. I'd like to see, maybe in the first quarter that we do that.
Would you bring in Homeland Security to do an audit?
Get a rate, yeah. Well, we do, is to do an audit.
Mm-hmm.
So we do, we actually have a third company that we run audits on your network on a quarterly basis. So we have that portion already.
This is based on Homeland Security criteria? They're gonna ask the same questions?
It's a software that runs through the entire network and detects.
Yeah, but it doesn't audit systems, the human portion.
The human portion, correct, yes, no, it does not. No, it's only internal, it's a pen test, it's a penetration test, yeah. So yes, if that, yeah.
Well, I think it's a good idea that we do exercise some kind of an audit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree to do a tabletop. I think it's a great idea. I will work on that and see what it's going to take to get that. I know I can work with Primex to find out all the steps that we need to do to have some of that on our website. I did recently got an account last month so that I can get in and have access to all that data.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That would be fun. Happy to do that.
So our computer maintenance software, et cetera, office equipment is increasing by $12,990 this year.
if you count the 6,000 for the
Well, I gotta count
Okay,
some.
I know, I'm just saying, yeah.
So you got $13,000 basically that you're adding to the budget. Total budget's only at 5571. But I guess my question is gonna be, or request is gonna be, you've given us these sheets of the outgoing costs,
Mm-hmm.
24, 25. Can we get totals for 24 and 25?
Right.
All you've done is given me I don't need to know what it is you're buying currently, I just need to know what impact it's gonna have.
Yeah,
Because I'm gonna have to defend the $13,000 to the budget committee.
yeah. Well, I did for this year, I gave that to you. I gave you the
You give me a
6,000
total.
for 6 computer software.
Right, no, I'm
Oh.
looking at these sheets,
This sheet, yeah.
so.
Well, next year for us, it's 8,000 because our server needs updated and then whatever his monthly will be by
Right,
next
let's
year.
do this a little more.
Right, I mean, the annual increase is small, we haven't even increased it in two to 3 years. We
I just need something in writing, I don't need it, don't tell me what it is, you need to write it down for me if you would,
Okay,
that'd be easy.
I will do that.
This year, it's not such an onerous amount because we're losing 10 grand worth of videotaping. Next year, we're not gonna have that $10,000
Right.
to work with, so. And are you gonna be able to come back and do this budget with us later on?
Yeah, I didn't know when you were gonna do it. That's why I'm here. I have all the budgets here for you
Yeah, I don't
to
know.
work with you.
I'm gonna get to it, but I'll be a little later on. So I guess my question to you two guys is, do we wanna go forward with the $4,370?
I think we'd be crazy not to.
4220, I'm sorry.
I agree.
All right, so we're gonna assume that that line item, which is 415032, is gonna be the 35,560.
Okay. Because you're going with the rack one.
Right.
Okay.
And one other question I have for you, just
Sure.
I got you here. On the equipment lease and service expenses,
Yeah,
Porter Charter Quadrant postage machine lease M623 of 2023.
3, correct.
And then it's plus $320,
Okay, it's already in there, the 8,900.
right?
It's $320 more because we need a new machine. I've already spoke with them about the
But
machine.
the $320, that's a one per year?
No,
charge?
that's what it's up per month.
It's up $320 a month?
No,
Okay,
the whole is $320 a year, but monthly it goes up. I just tried to tell you what the overall,
so it's $320 divided by 12, is that what
Yes.
it's at? Okay.
it's actually on that format sheet I gave you. That's why I give you all the back.
So it's $26.66 per month.
It's, yeah, currently,
That doesn't work out.
we're at 410.97. If we go with the commercial, we'll be at 495 a month.
Okay.
If you decide to go, and this I was gonna talk to you when you got to it, and then if you decided to go with the state contract, which means it won't be a variable amount, it would be $516.99 a month instead of the $410 a month.
Okay.
So, we can go over that when
Yeah,
we're ready.
when we get to it.
Yeah?
Any more questions for,
Yeah, any
Tom, sorry,
questions?
before you jump on the
Everything
rock.
seems to be going well. We have,
How long do you think it'll be before a 12-year-old kid can bust all this?
I think that's happened.
That seems like a real possibility to me.
and just for clarifying, this covers the police and the fire as well?
Yes, that's what, yeah, it's a whole hour.
Just so that we
Yeah, yeah,
get that out there in the
yeah, absolutely,
public sphere.
absolutely.
This is the price I have here under the 35,000 is for everything. The only thing that is being divided up by the budgets is the equipment, like my 6,000 for the
Right.
town office.
Right.
And then they'll have something for their offices. But his actual monthly is part of the computer quote.
How long of a working agreement do we have?
With Tom?
Multi-year contract?
Yeah, no, we should probably do that. I think that the renewal's February. I believe.
I think
Something
it's
like that.
February 1st,
Okay,
something like
so we can look at it in February if you want to, unless
that.
you
Or
want,
we can do
unless
it,
you want to extend it, I'm more than happy to do that.
All right,
Okay.
let's set up a meeting sometime after the first of the year and figure it all out. If we're gonna, what we're gonna do on that. I mean, this is 2023, and we got a budget for it, so.
so if you go with him, we could just make it that it ends
yeah,
in
it's easier to-
December of 2023.
it's
You need
easier-
to make it more January.
Easier if contracts end in December as opposed to the middle of the year, because we set the budget, and we have to have it set by December 31st.
Do you want me to amend the current one and send it over for signing?
No, let's just work forward with what we have,
Okay,
and past practices.
Okay.
Help it.
okay,
All right.
okay. All right, so we'll do a 10-month one, or 10, or a year and 10, or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, okay.
Yeah, let's have that chat in January.
Great. As far as deployment on this, you want me to hold tight and not do anything?
As far as what?
On deployment on the EDR, you want me to hold, on the, Black Point, you want me to hold tight?
Till January.
Well, it's not budgeted.
It's not budgeted
The
for
budget
this
won't be
year.
approved until March.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That doesn't constrain us from doing it earlier. Don't let that constrain you.
Okay.
If you'd like to have it done earlier, we can make it happen.
What,
If you don't think it's necessary, we don't have to.
What I'm thinking is we could do, I would really love to have it done before the holidays, so I could do like a 7-day trial, so if I pull the trigger like at the last week of this month, that would be free. Then if I pull the trigger then, I wouldn't bill you to December 1st, so you don't pay once this year.
If there's a mechanism to make it happen, I'm in favor of
Well,
exploiting that
What would
mechanism.
it cost for just that 1 month?
Well, the
The 320?
Yeah, no, 360, yeah.
we got
360.
IT. Yeah, we got $4,000 left in support, and,
Well, we still have to pay him too for
yeah,
this.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
but, yeah, computer software leases, we've got 11,600. I mean, I think this budget's at 113,000, which is less than 50%. Well, no, it's just over 50%.
But a lot of my bills come in the end of the year.
I'm sure we can, I mean, we're,
If it's only
the
360 or 400.
$4,320 is not a one-time charge, it's a monthly.
360, yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing would be picking up
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, if we started like right off, it would only be 2 months, and then
Right.
if I could delay it another, I could potentially get it out, so it would only be 1, but I prefer to do it right away.
Fine,
So
$800.
it's $720. I think we can do that.
Okay.
If you want to have it done in November.
Yeah, great,
I think sooner than later is a better idea.
Okay.
perfect. All right, I'll start working on it today and get it in a trial, you know, because I want to pay for it for like a week, and that'll delay it out a bit. Okay, great. Is there any other questions?
Anything else?
I'm set.
Okay.
Do you want to vote on that you want to start that? Do you have to vote on that you want him to start doing that? Or is
We
it
can
just,
vote.
you're just
You want to
telling
make a
him?
motion?
I'll make a motion that we,
I'd like
for the last 2 months, November, December, that we join the Black Point
And I'll second
cybersecurity
that.
software.
Second? Oh, you already did, sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Have a look.
Did you, Tom,
Yes.
did you need to be here when Jen was here?
I'm
No.
not sure, but I'd be more than happy to wait.
I don't think so.
No?
He doesn't need to be here for Jen, does he?
No.
Okay.
You don't have anything going on with Jen, okay. You want her now, or you want to do Parks and Rec first?
There are already 15 minutes past.
Well, let's do Parks and Rec first.
Thanks.
Okay, let's do Parks and Rec first.
Jen's here about that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Parks and Rec.
Chip, how are you?
Good, how are you?
How are you? I'm Corey Hunter.
Murray?
Nice to meet you, Bob. Hey guys, how are you? Yeah, good morning. I'd like to introduce my two guests. Eileen Gill, she's taken over the leadership of Parks and Rec Commission, and we thank her for that. Congratulate her. She's gonna help me today with budget stuff, but before we get into that, I wanna introduce Corey Hunter. Corey is one of our recipients of our, actually it was a summer program with the honorary conductor, which we honored Tuftonboro residents that really made life in Tuftonboro better. Little birdie told me something about Corey. Of course, Corey's a landscaper for the town and has that as a business, but I was told that some people that really couldn't afford either lawn mowing or plowing or that type of stuff, Corey makes sure it gets done, so we thank you for that, Corey, and we appreciate that. My passion is basketball, I think you all know, and then Corey's passion, I think, is basketball. I think he's entering his 20th year doing youth basketball for Wolfboro, Tuftonboro, and I had the pleasure to work with Corey last year as the 6th grade traveling coach. Corey provides a service, and I'm not sure you understand. I ran a youth basketball program in Mass with 900 kids. Now Corey has a family, he has a full-time business, and the time he puts into basketball is incredible. Recruiting kids, getting them signed up, recruiting parents, recruiting coaches to coach these kids, getting gyms, getting uniforms, making schedules, getting people to do timing, scoring, like I say, the refereeing. In addition to that, getting traveling teams, putting them in tournaments, transportation, media, financing, marketing. All this is done by this guy here. And I've witnessed it firsthand being part of his team last year. So there was no question in our commission when we talked about honoring people, the guy that is done. And thank God Corey's here. I hope he never stops basketball, and I know that's on his mind, but I don't want that to happen. But Corey, on behalf of our town of Tuftonboro, again, we'd like to award you this little token of our appreciation. It says, presented to Corey Hunter, thank you for making Tuftonboro a better place to live. The time is exactly right. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
kid.
guys. I really appreciate it.
Wait a minute.
Oh, she wants a picture.
Hold on.
The award.
There we go.
Thanks, Jackie was the little birdie, by the way.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much. I mean, I grew up, born and raised in Tuftonboro. Obviously, I don't live in the town limits anymore. I live in Wolfboro, but Tuftonboro is always going to be special to me. And thank you to the Selectmen for your continued loyalty with, business-wise, for me being able to take care of the town properties. That's big for me. And yeah, I mean, I enjoy, helping out the community, and basketball was a passion for me. I played it for a long time, and I mean, son, Logan came through the program, so, it's great to see all those little kids out there starting in kindergarten, first grade, and
That's a great
follow
program.
them up through, and hopefully they make it through the high school ranks and contribute there. So, hopefully I'll be able to continue to do it for a long time, and thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for
Thanks.
appreciating it.
Congratulations.
Appreciate everything you do.
Thanks. Thank you.
Now back to work, right?
Yes. Thanks.
Well, we had a commission meeting last week, was it? Was it last week? Yeah. Bob was there, and we had quite a discussion on budget. Do you have copies, or do you need copies of mine?
You should have them in there.
You got it.
Okay. Give these copies for now. This, outside of the budget, this is a copy of the Parks and Rec Fund, the revolving fund. I don't think, it's probably been a year since you had a copy of it. I had asked Jack for that, so he came through with that. But that's nothing to do with what we're talking about now with budgets. The only question I had is, I wish someone had told me the $1,000 that went to Pump Pass and Kick to send our kids to Dallas came out of that fund. I didn't know that, and when I read that report, I saw that, so I just wish I was informed about taking it out of our fund.
Well, and that's gonna happen every single time.
Well, I didn't know
You bring
that.
something forward that's not budgeted. So if we know now that
Right.
you're gonna do it in July,
Yeah, it should be in this
then we're
one.
gonna put it in the budget. If you
Okay.
bring it up in July,
I mean, it was
it's gotta come from somewhere else.
kind of an on-the-spot thing that our kids wanted to have
Yeah,
an
yeah.
opportunity to go. It was almost like the awards we just gave out. It didn't come out of my budget, it came out of some other fund, which I'm unsure of. And I thought this was the same thing, but anyway, that's,
So how many do you think you're gonna send this year? That should probably go in the budget.
there's probably gonna be 2, maybe 3,
So that's 1,500.
and that's in Florida based on the condition of Florida. So, again, I think these parents that are gonna go are gonna go regardless.
So on your budget, that should be
Yeah,
added.
okay, I didn't know that, but again, I saw that through the Parks and Rec. Well, anyway, during the discussion of the town budget, again, the one big item that probably took most of the meeting, and I think Bob will attest to that, is really almost a third of our budget, and that's the Wolfboro situation. Eileen is here, she's done some homework on it. Again, all we want is the opportunity to pay our share, and whatever our share is. And they can't give us that over the
Well, they
course-
have.
Well, they over the other 2, 3
In other
last
years,
years,
yeah.
they haven't.
Right.
And we want an accounting of what we're spending. Again, if I had an extra $15,000 in my budget, it'd be awesome. But that was our biggest discussion. I think Bob had some great comments about it, but I'm gonna let Eileen talk
Right,
a
let
little
me-
bit about.
Sort of back up because I've been on the commission now, it's like my 5th year, and almost every meeting we talk about this. I know it's been brought up before the selectmen before, and some decisions have been made. The question that the commission asked was, what is our fair share? So I took their invoice and I quantified it, their invoice, yep. Their invoice gave a breakdown of the amount of Tufton Borough people participating in the various programs. Then I took the differential between resident and non-resident and just multiplied it out. So that based on the usage that they gave us on their invoice, the differential, or the resident versus non-resident, is $8,173. So
So that's the savings by participation.
that's what we're paying them, the differential between resident and non-resident. We're paying them more than that, but that's what would be earned if you apply that differential to each of those participants.
Well, that's a good number to know.
So the bill was 16,000. At the bottom of their invoice is
661.
right, 16,661. At the bottom of their invoice, it says there are more programs that they don't have a differential on, so maybe there's some percentage we could apply to the actual to say, okay, there's some administrative fees, or administrative costs, I should say. But the actual participation, which is what the commission has always been talking about, is about $8,000 of the $16,000 bill.
Any,
So we're, okay, just so we're clear, we're on television. We're saving our residents $8,000 in user fees.
We're saving our residents $8,000, but we're paying it out of our tax
Right,
budget.
Right, we're paying it out of taxes.
Correct.
So there's no savings at all,
Correct.
really, but we got 2,000 people paying taxes as opposed to, or more than that. But the net savings is $8,173 according to Wolfboro user fees
and
here.
that was for 2021.
Correct. And some of these didn't have a real breakdown, so I used to use $30 differential, which was typically what I saw. You know, where it's estimated
Oh,
or average, I just applied.
Okay, so you moved that number from town of Wolfboro to use assistance. So we're not saving anything on the budget, but how are you gonna manage the youth assistance money?
Well, that was in there before we had this accounting,
Right.
all right?
Kathy put that line item in for us to give
Right.
us a
So,
secondary.
We should go back to the town of Wolfboro line and put some money in. I would suggest you put maybe 10 or 15% above that, or make it, like almost $10,000. And the remaining would go into a fund, doesn't have to be a youth assistance fund. That was something we were talking about, we had to make up the differential, which we're not gonna do, because we know how much need there is. But Dennis has, could have some other ideas for using, we just use $1,500 for the fun pass and kick.
Right? Yeah.
No, but I mean, wouldn't Wolfboro have to know this and agree?
Well, we
with
could
it?
tell them that we've got their accounting, going forward, we'll use their accounting. I mean, I think we should give them some notice. They're not gonna stop, if we're gonna pay them our fair share, they don't have to stop doing anything. They don't have to do anything with their accounting except give us a bill. That make sense?
Well, you're gonna have to negotiate with them, I think.
I'm sorry?
I think you'll have to negotiate with them, because their agreement is 16,661.
But I don't know how that number is arrived at.
I know. It's
Right.
just
Someone
been
said
that
it was
every
based
year.
on the
I know,
census back
it's
on.
typically been that, and hearsay says it's based on population of, I don't know, population of the town, population of the
Okay,
kids, I
so
don't
the
know.
simplest way to bridge this gap is you've got $16,661 to work with. You're saying 8173 is the real number that we should be paying Wolfboro. But, who knows, Wolfboro may come up with reasoning that would use up the 16,661. So if you put $8,488 into youth assistance, you have all the money you need to satisfy whatever programming there is in Wolfboro. How you pay it becomes a negotiable item, because now you're gonna ask Kathy to write him a check for 8173, and
Or whatever
somebody's
their
gotta-
accounting tells us they
somebody's gotta
use.
put them on notice that that's all they're getting out of that, and then they're gonna have to account for the rest.
Mhm.
And that's, whose job is that?
What do you mean accounting for the rest? Whatever we use the rest of the money for?
Yeah, I mean, how? No, you're gonna use it for youth assistance, that's another issue that we're gonna probably address here someday. If I take my grandchild to day camp, and they say we've used up the 8173, what happens?
We pay them in arrears. They're gonna give us a bill for exactly
Okay,
how
so
many
You're gonna have Wolfboro bill you.
they do every year.
They only bill us once, they don't bill us for each individual.
That's right, they're gonna
occurrence.
bill us at the end of the year,
Okay,
just like they did this year. They're gonna give us an invoice with their participation on it, and
okay.
we'll pay that bill. See,
So that bill had these numbers on it?
it did,
Okay.
yes.
Right here. So this
So
was the
those-
invoice.
those match, okay. All right.
But they give us the number and then they just automatically bill us 16,000. They don't break it down.
Well, we're gonna break it down for them, is what I'm
Right.
hearing.
Okay.
Well, I think it'd be wise that if we're gonna go this route, that the money be in there somewhere. We don't entirely get rid of it.
Well, you can't until you go through a year of this new program and they accept the results.
My point exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if they ended up with 1,000 people, we would pay them for 1,000 people,
But they need to know that our intent is
to pay them
to
as
pay
we go.
them
Right,
what we actually used,
correct,
not some abstract number.
right.
Well, and historically, they've been at 16,661 for a long time, although in 2020, we're at 49.98.
That was for
That's
Good
COVID.
question.
That
We
was
still
for
got the
COVID.
bill for 16, but we
Right,
questioned them
negotiated
saying,
it down.
you didn't run any programs, why are you charging us? And they
So
dropped it
the
to,
bill remained 16,661 even with the pandemic.
And I'm gonna throw this out there, they're gonna be asking us for money for this, for the new rink.
That's not Parks and Rec though.
Yeah, that's not.
That's Friends of Avenue. That's a whole different, or Pop Whalen, excuse me, that's a whole different thing.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a, well, I don't know if I have to make a motion, but I'm gonna recommend that we put $8,488 on youth assistance, $81.73 on town of Wolfboro.
Don't wanna round those numbers up or anything.
Yeah, I would.
No,
Yeah.
it's 16,661, you gotta.
I know that's not round either.
How much on Wolfboro?
81.73. So that leaves us at 16,661. And just to disabuse both of you of this strange notion that you have, you don't get to pick and choose how you use that money. We do. So if you wanna take,
$1,500 for punt, pass and kick.
you need to come here
Okay.
and ask us where we're gonna take it from and how we're gonna do it. We elected to take it out of your fund the last time, $1,000. That's also our election. You don't have absolute control of that either. So just so we get some communications going, I had some notion that there was a talk about a van. That's not gonna happen unless it comes to this table. It's not gonna, even if you
Listen,
got,
I
if
can
you got
dream, okay, I got dreams,
$25,000.
there's nothing to say it's happening, I can bring it up, but I
Right,
don't know where you got that information.
but if you got
I mean, I got a lot of
if you
ideas.
got 25 grand in your
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec account, you don't get to decide you're gonna go out and buy something with it.
I understand, that's not a problem.
All right. The next
don't have
issue on the
25
Parks and
grand.
Rec is we're gonna ask our director to put in 5 hours a week more. Is that what we're coming up with? Because I'm showing a $7,300 increase in that line.
I think a lot of it too was cost of living too.
That was,
Well, no, the cost of living increase would have pushed it up to about 21,000.
Yeah.
You're up to 26.
That's because I looked up last year's budget and you were at 15 hours. That's the difference. It's just, now you're going 20.
Right.
That's the.
So is it, I mean, I just need, I guess we need a recommendation that we need an extra 5 hours out of Dennis. Or how are we justifying that number? I've got to defend it before the budget.
No, I just think during the busy time, the summer and old home days, I mean, old home days week, I work 40 hours.
Yeah,
But come
So that's
winter
at an
time, I
average.
might work 10 hours.
right.
And I think it kind of balances out.
Yeah, and we talked about that when we hired you, that
Yeah.
there's gonna be busy times, there's gonna be slow times. But I've got a,
so how do you want that to happen? Recommending additional time. How do you want that to happen?
I want your committee or you in the form of the committee to recommend an additional 5 hours.
To you now or in writing?
Absolutely.
Right now.
Okay, I will recommend, on average, that the director have 20 hours on average over the course of the year.
Okay. So that's going to increase your total budget by $10,000, which is about a 20% increase. What say you, brothers?
I think Dennis does a fine job.
No, I think he does a wonderful job. I just,
And he needs to be paid for the hours that he works, so if the recommendation from the
Chairman.
thank you,
Chairwoman.
this is for 5 additional hours, then I support that recommendation.
Okay. How about,
As well.
all right, the next item is water safety instructors. It's gone up $500.
Yeah, that was basically
That's a
swim
market,
lessons, Hannah.
but that's a market
Market adjustment.
driven item.
Yeah.
Okay. Beach and wharf toilets, that went up $800.
Cost of living.
Market adjustment.
Yeah.
Well, they went up in their
Sure.
price.
Yeah, they're still the lowest around, but
We
they did
checked.
go up.
And they're still giving us a discount.
Yeah.
Okay, beach dock maintenance went up $500.
Mhm.
What additional maintenance is needed there?
Well, I think this year we had a lot of hardware we had to get, which we did.
Okay.
and we just
We're
wanted
looking
to.
forward to 2023.
Yeah,
What's the
no, I
addition?
just think we wanted to be safe and make sure. I mean, halfway through the thing, we lost the whole thing going towards the bridge, and we have to, you know, the town. So I just kind of an emergency fund that if we have to do that again. And
Okay.
again, he's taken over 20 Mile Bay. We're storing them, we're cleaning them, so
So we're doing that now.
yeah.
The doctor or whoever it was isn't
Okay.
doing it anymore. Okay.
We skipped right over old home days. Then went from 1,000 to 2,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, my reason for that is, most years since I've been here, and I think Jackie will speak on it, people that come to the town picnic normally get a little gift, whether it's a mug or whatever. And I just wanted to put that in there so we could do that again.
Yeah, so that makes the numbers work. I was off by 1,000. Any further discussion on the budget?
I have nothing.
No, I think it's a good budget.
Okay, I'm gonna make
I have a question.
sure, go ahead.
Are they putting that 1,500 in for that?
Yeah,
What are you
The
doing?
fund passing kick, we don't have a lot in the revolving fund,
Oh,
so
you're gonna have it in with a revolving fund?
How much is it, 8,000?
$8,000, if we take 1,500 out of there, we don't have much cushion.
The total budget for that pump passing kick is $8,000.
No,
No,
in
that's
the
the
revolving fund.
Oh,
If we take it out of the revolving fund, we're down to 6,500 or so.
What's the purpose of the revolving fund?
to encourage recreation.
It's to buy vans.
No,
It's
no,
your,
no.
it's your bank account?
It's kind of a bank.
Yeah, they take in revenue
Not a
from
rookie.
concerts, et cetera, and then they have to spend it on recreational items. That's, and I'm more inclined to say that that's a good place to pump pass and kick.
Okay.
So am
I
I.
agree.
I'm gonna make a motion on the Parks and Rec budget that we change the youth assistant line to $8,488. We change the Wolfboro town line or the town of Wolfboro line up to $8,173. And that gives us a total budget for 4520 of $67,971.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's for discussion.
I think we discussed it.
Been beat to death.
Beat to death. All right, thanks for your
Thank you,
effort.
guys.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for
All
coming.
right.
Oh,
Put this one chair back.
We'll deal with it later.
Highway,
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
highway. You're up, Mr. Green.
Good morning.
Good morning. You have your budget?
I do.
I don't know.
Yep, I'm gonna get this you.
May I speak to something quickly before we get through that?
Yeah, sure.
The Agricultural Commission wants their wood chips.
They want what?
Wood chips.
Are they still in business? I heard they all quit.
Not until the first of the year.
Not until the wood chips arrive?
They've given us notice.
thank you.
Well, since the last meeting, we had, the projects we worked on is finished working on the town truck and we had it
Call you?
inspected, so that's all set to
I'll
go.
come get you.
Did it need much before inspection?
Yep, it did a lot. We had to put new brakes all the way around, everything was rusted out, had to put new backing plates on it, and we had a broken front leaf spring.
How much did you spend?
I don't have the total number, but I can give you an approximate, it was probably $8,000.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, before everything was said and done and ready for inspection. I had to work on lights and stuff. You know, the brakes were big. It was fairly costly, those parts. We had to replace every drum, all the pads. It was pretty rusted out too. It's good now.
So maybe we'll get more for our tree then.
I wish that was the case, and I try to explain that every year. If we put a brand new motor in that today for $50,000, it doesn't add a dime to what it's worth for trading. That's why, I
Who
try to.
performs our inspections?
What's that?
Who performed the inspection on the truck?
Johnny Goodrich. He does a good job.
Oh, yeah?
I trust him.
Interesting, because I've done fire trucks. I know you can't check the drums if you don't pull the wheels, for example. You can check the pads by pulling the little rubber jobbers out, but
So
he's-
we pulled it
good.
all apart ourselves to make sure
Good.
too. Yeah.
Good, thanks.
We knew we were
Yep.
going with the whole thing right from the get-go.
Yep,
It
this
was
was fine,
fine.
just curious.
Yep. We repaired washouts after a heavy rainstorm. We've excavated out ditch lines and sumps on Ledge Hill and Sodom Road. Replaced the rusted out culvert on Sentinel Road and redug the ditch line. Checked out beaver culverts and removed debris. And it's ongoing constantly, but we've marked out stumps that need to be ground before winter to prevent plow damage from all the tree removals we had done. Then we excavated around them for the stump grinder, and we have a stump grinder scheduled to come in next week and start grinding the stumps. I plan on paying that out of tree removal account, but I know that there's still a bill out there that we have coming in from when we had emergency tree work done after a storm. It may put us over a little bit on that line. I'm just hoping that we're okay with some of the other lines, but I thought I'd bring it to your attention before we go over on that line. Yeah, but the stump grinding is going to be close to that. We've also filled in some potholes on Lang Pond Road. We replaced the engine on the town-owned truck-mounted leaf blower. That has to be done every 6 or 7 years. It just runs too hard.
Yeah, if you, whenever you're, okay.
We
I'll come
planned
get you.
starting the road grading last week, but I learned that 22,000 came out of the fall budget. I'm a little concerned about the budget. We may be able to get everything done for the remainder of the budget, but not knowing if we're gonna have a heavy rain or windstorm this fall, or if winter starts early, multiple snowstorms between now and this year, it could be tight. I wanted to run everything by you first. You've already mentioned that the budgets are tight this year, and I need to be careful not to go over. So, I guess I would like to make sure that you guys are okay with grading, or do I need to cut back before we do that?
You're gonna grade Phineas Graves,
All
Lang's
the
Pond,
difference. Yeah, Lang Pond is bad. We've given quite a few calls on that.
and for the public benefit, what others?
We do Curtis Road, number 9 Road, Rampy Lane, section of County, Eaglemere, Canaan, Sentinel, Felder Corners, North Line, and Phineas Graves, like you said, Willand Road.
Well, then, to new this sheet. Yeah, okay, good.
Why would we be grading Langs Pond Road this time of year?
We do every fall. Fall and spring it gets done.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, you've been over it.
Not,
Try it.
not since the summer, but the first snowstorm is gonna be closed for the season.
We grade them a little differently in angle too, like in the spring we'll put more of a crown on it, and then we flatten them off a little bit in the winter for plowing purposes and stuff like that too. We do plow part of it, only about a quarter of the way, I'd say.
Yeah, I took, or I authorized taking that money out of your fall maintenance.
Yep.
And that was for the culvert plans for Ledge Hill Road.
And I understand that, I know it's gotta come out of somewhere. But actually, I have on the next line here, I said, I've been told numerous times to keep the budget in the correct accounts, even if it makes that account go over. It's the bottom line that counts. And to have true accounting numbers, we need to keep them in the correct accounts. That way we know if we can.
So you'd
to
rather
adjust
have
them.
them in culverts?
So I was actually thinking it should come out of, what was the other account that I didn't get printed on here for some reason? Road prep and repair seems like the appropriate one. I know that we only have $100 in it, and that's what we started with this year. It's gonna put it over, but does that seem like the appropriate account to put it under? Because we're kind of, it's preparing for the future.
Road prep and
Well,
repair,
road
that sounds
prep
like,
and repair isn't active, prepping and repairing. This is a design element.
It's maintenance, grading a dirt road.
No, we're talking about the 20,000
Oh, I'm sorry.
bucks.
I got it.
Where to put, what line did,
Yeah.
I would think it would go under, but I thought road prep, because that's kind of prep work, I would think, in the way you're doing the design to.
All right, we'll have that discussion ongoing. We can move that number around if it makes it clearer.
That's what I was hoping, just to make it more clear for the future, and when people read this winter, in the book where everything was spent, probably makes more sense to me that it's in there for the future. Also, there was $6,000 left in the building maintenance for the highway garage. I have an estimate to add one in insulation in the attic of the highway garage for $3,000. I was told it could really use more insulation by everyone that looked at for the estimates for the heating system. I didn't know if the selectmen are interested in using $3,000 of that to get that done this year, or if you'd rather wait and keep that money in there.
you having ice problems on the roof?
Nope, we're not. But I guess you can see daylight down into the garage, so if you can see light coming up through, it's just, it's old. I think that building was built in the '70s.
So we're gonna replace the heating system in that building, or?
Are you still using the tube heaters?
We are. It's, I
put
don't know
those
if
in.
we are, to be honest with you. I guess it's,
I put those in years ago,
oh, you did?
yeah.
Yeah, they're still working.
However, in the 90s, when that building was built, I put those in, so.
Okay, so you saw it was in the '90s, okay.
I put those in the 90s, yeah,
Wow.
late 90s. We definitely got the money's worth out of them.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
and I just don't know that they are the most economic thing to use at this point in time, but.
Well-
They never were.
The tube heaters, they're reflective tube heaters. You turn them on and you feel the heat immediately.
Yep, which,
They were
that
there
part's
just,
nice.
they're there just so you could back the truck in and turn the heaters on and it would melt the trucks down, so you could
Correct.
work on the truck.
So if you have a freeze up in the back of the truck, that actually sits above them,
Right.
so you can thaw out the truck
So
faster.
I know that when the CIP was talking about, their list of goodies, that heat in the shop was one item. Were you gonna bring that forward this year for a warrant article?
I actually recommended it to the CIP committee. I think they haven't told me actually if that is moved on, but I think they recommended it last year. So I
Right.
assume they would this year.
And how much was that?
22,000.
22 grand. Okay.
What are you gonna replace them with? Same thing? Not Modines. Were you?
I thought those were Motins. No?
No, those are tube heaters. Those are radar reflective tube heaters. They were completely different than Modines.
Okay. Yeah, so no, not Motins, but a different style, and I'm not sure exactly what it was now. To be honest with you, we've kind of been over this.
Well, think very seriously about what you want, because those were put in for a purpose, for exactly the reason that you stated. For quick thawing, if somebody working on a truck, you feel the heat instantly. Modines heat the air. Those reflective heaters heat surfaces, which secondarily heat the air, so.
Maybe we can talk more about it if you'd like to come down and look at it again.
Okay, but if we get back to the insulation, I mean, is it our intention to improve the heating system next year, or, I mean, because you're gonna have to you should add insulation for efficiency purposes.
Look at ice dams, it's a metal roof, so.
Well, that was the first question I asked.
Yeah, it slides off, but,
We have ice problems.
yeah, you wouldn't really that much on a metal roof because you're losing it through it, it comes off, so.
Insulation is always better.
I would put insulation in there. If you have the money, I would do it now.
I'm just wondering where,
I'll disagree.
you might save it back in no time too, I don't know. I tell you what, those heaters seem to run, we keep it at 50 all the time. And those run pretty steady, they almost never stop.
Yeah, but they were never designed to keep the building up to temperature. They were designed to heat surfaces for quick melting. Turning on heat while you're working on a truck, you can feel the heat. That was their purpose, not to maintain the temperature in the building.
Okay, well, we need to maintain the temperature of the building just so that the hydraulics don't get really cold too now.
Yeah, when you've got something parked in there and the heaters are on, they're capturing the heat.
Right.
We're moving far afield here, fellas.
Plumbing in there as well, so.
Yeah.
There's plumbing as well, so do we want to add insulation to the building?
I think it's a good idea. For
Do you think it's a
$3,000.
good idea?
No, he made a statement that it was a gross statement, and I don't mean disgusting gross. It was a catch-all statement. Insulation isn't always better in the building. In this case, more would be better. It's possible to build them so tight with insulation that you have to install added equipment, mold problems.
I don't think.
I'm a
I don't
builder.
think that's gonna be a
Okay,
problem.
but we're using a building for purposes it was never designed
We haven't
for.
done a blower door test, but I'm sure it
Right.
won't qualify.
No, I think more insulation in the attic in this case is a good idea.
I support it as well.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
do it.
All right.
So,
Okay, yeah, so I guess it was on my Stephen's last paragraph about moving the account. I don't know if you guys can discuss that.
yeah,
The next page is what I'm proposing for the budget for 2023. I also put on the last page where I'm currently at for the budget being used this year. So if we want something to compare it to, because I went over in several areas and not by my own design.
The victim in circumstance.
Yeah, things have gone up, and, catch basin cleaning is one of them. So I did go up on catch basin cleaning, because that's where we need to be these days, unfortunately. I went up $2,000 on that, and, line striping, I also went up because we were definitely over on line striping. And I can get estimates, but the estimates for right now that I get are only good for 30 days.
I think we strike too much.
Oh, really? I was thinking we should strike more. I'd love to
once
see
you
more.
start, you gotta keep doing it. And
We get a lot of compliments about it. I think most people actually enjoy, benefit from it. I know I do. I actually think it makes life easier when we're plowing and stuff. Can hold the truck in the center of the line much better when you know where it is. And it keeps people, especially on the more narrow roads too. I'd love to see Tuckamore Neck Road have stripes on it. I also went up on the spring maintenance, just because we seem to always go over on the spring maintenance. So I went up 5,000 on that, which is where we roughly are.
I'm guessing you go over on spring maintenance because you ran out of money in fall maintenance from the previous year. You run out of sand, and then you buy a shitload of it at January 1st.
So that's winter maintenance. So spring maintenance is more of the cleaning out culverts, blowing off the roads, getting the ditch lines clean again, making sure the ditch lines flow, and grading the roads. That's primarily
okay,
the bulk of it. There's that and little things here and there as well.
let's go one line at a time.
Okay.
So, telephone stayed the same, summer maintenance stayed the same, winter maintenance stayed the same. You're up $2,500 on
Oh.
fuel.
Yes, I don't know if I gave you a copy of this too,
Yeah.
in your packet there.
Right.
You think
Yeah, the
that's enough?
fixed price for diesel is gone. I mean,
Yeah.
we've always had that. I've been here 14
Right.
years. We've always had a fixed price. And we're currently paying, we were until it ended. I think we were paying $2.29 a gallon. I'm guessing it's not gonna stay at $2.29 a gallon.
No.
No, it's double that, so you only went up $2,500.
Well, I wanted to ask your advice. I don't know where to go with this, because who knows what the price is gonna be,
So let's do the, what is it, 229, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna get for a price, and they don't know what they're gonna get for a price. And it's gonna change monthly, is what they're also saying.
So you've used about 2,000 gallons of fuel, so,
And we're not
Today.
done yet, yeah.
no, you're not done yet. So that's 200 gallons a month.
And we're over $5 a gallon now. So let's call it $5.50 just for argument.
Oh, that's gonna be a crazy number.
You're looking at $20,000 in fuel.
No, you're not. No, you're looking at 12,000. So 12.5 is where you're at, what you're estimating, 12.5. I think you're short by, I think it should be at least 15.
15. Well, I'll agree with that, because it's a guess.
Push the price up to $5 a gallon, just for, divide what he's spent already by 229. He's used about 1,000 gallons a month.
Yeah, but November, December, he's gonna be using a lot, once it starts snowing, he's gonna be using a lot more fuel again.
Yeah, but it snowed last January too. So this is a rolling average that we're running 200 gallons a month, so maybe he's not using, he doesn't use as much in the summer as he does in the winter. It just seems as though, I mean, I would recommend $15,000 for that line, and you guys can,
I'll easily support 15, I just don't think that's enough.
okay, how about you, Mr. Pike?
I see fuel being doubled what it was.
That's a good point, it could be. You would hope that state gets a better price than what we pay at the pump. I don't think we pay road tax either,
No, we don't.
so we should get a little better price than what residents.
You getting it, you getting fuel at Troop E?
No, we actually get it at this town, the state garage right in Tufton
Oh,
Road.
right here, okay.
Yep,
But we have a state account, I guess.
it's actually, yep, it's the same, all the same system that the town works off from. And I could go to Troop E and get fuel there, it's the same price.
I only say Troop E because we go to Troop E, the county.
What do you think there, Guy?
I'm still hashing it over. I think I'd be more comfortable with a total of 17.5, to be honest with
Split the difference.
you. Yep, split the difference.
Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion that we increase the fuel budget to read $17,500.
Second?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Are you aye too, Bob?
I said aye.
Okay. All right, equipment maintenance remain flat. General expenses remain flat. Catch basins, you're up $2,500. No, you're down $2,500.
No, catch basin should be up.
It is up, I'm sorry.
We're up 2,500.
Up 2,500. Roadside mowing, you're comfortable with that number? They did a good job, I thought.
We missed a few roads, but
Yeah.
it was a time constraint.
Okay, culverts, $3,000. Tree removal, 3,500, or 35,000, I'm sorry. We'll continue the program that we've started. Apron paving, you dropped it to 12,500. No, you
No, it's
dropped
up
to 15.
2,500.
Yeah, up 2,500, I'm sorry. Striping,
We're up.
we're up by $5,000.
Yep.
Striping and stop lines. I know I'm getting a little off subject. Have you researched getting a grinder for putting rumble strips, Ledge Hill and Durgan?
I tried, I haven't made a lot of progress on that, but I have made
It's on
some
your list
calls.
of things to do?
Yeah, I mean, I have made some calls, but just haven't come up with it yet.
All right, as long as it's still on the list. Crack sealing. Did you do any crack sealing last year?
Yes, we do it every year, we haven't done it yet, we haven't started yet.
Getting cold.
Yeah, it is, we're gonna get moving on it this week, but that's this week's project.
Okay, still on striping. Do we want to leave it at $20,000?
I think that's gonna be the number this year to get done what we have been doing for the last 5 years.
Do we really need a telephone at the highway garage?
Well, that's how we get our messages. And sometimes it's handy. I don't know what's gonna happen with that cell tower. I think we're gonna get service there, because we don't with our cell phones now.
I doubt it if you run into anything.
I think you're gonna get service.
Well, one of the guys lives on County Road. He's right across from the cell tower. He says he's gotta stand in the right spot in his yard to get service.
They're too close.
You can't be too close.
Yeah.
But we're also gonna have one at the fire station. I mean, if we had the 75, I'm gonna get right back into it, because we're gonna get some stuff done. If we had the $7,500 and then leave everything the same, we've got a 2% increase year to year. So are we gonna do the striping?
Do it or change it? I mean, he's recommended
Are
$20,000.
we gonna leave it at 20?
Well, I don't wanna see it increased.
It's
That's what
already
you're asking.
increased by $5,000.
And because we were over budget this year. Cost of paint has gone through the roof.
Yeah, you're $1,600 over. That's not a lot.
Are you comfortable with the amount that you recommended? I can't imagine you wouldn't be because you recommended it.
I feel that's gonna be the number for next year. You know, they're not, my quotes, if I get a quote right now, it's good for 30 days, that's it.
Okay. Crack sealing at $10,000, that's the same. Spring maintenance, we've gone up $5,000. Are you gonna do $5,000 more work? I hope so.
Well, we've been consistently over, I think, every spring.
Well, yeah, you've been 44,566.
I know you probably already said it, but why do you think you're over? I sidetracked with the sand. Why do you think you're over?
Oh, well, because that's what it costs to do the spring maintenance with the road grading and the blowing out the ditch lines and stuff like that. We haul in a lot more gravel. We haul in gravel for the roads in the spring.
So you think you've been under budgeting it for a couple of years?
Well, I've been recommending it for 45,000 for multiple years, but it just gets cut every year.
Right. Because of other lines that.
Correct. Yep.
All right.
I mean, I'm doing my best, but that's what the number is every year.
Fall maintenance remained the same, sign replacement remained the same.
And I did put Japanese knotweed in this year, or I forgot to put it in last year.
Knotweed.
Yep, we spray for that every year, and it requires a permit and all that as well.
Oh, so we got $1,000 for that.
Yeah, so I put that in the budget, unless you guys feel like we don't wanna do it anymore. I recommend it. I think that it's, when we started doing it, it really knocked it back a lot. It grows every year if you don't.
Where's the problem?
We have it in multiple places around
Handhill.
town. Yeah, Handhill especially.
Brown.
Brown Road,
Brown.
Ledge Hill Road, I think even at the transfer center. It's in multiple places. I don't have the list in front of me, but I want to say there's at least 7 sites that we visit every year. And I feel like we actually had a new one pop up this year as well.
Excuse me.
But it grows.
I think I'd rather see the knotweed put into, when do you do it, in the spring or in the fall?
September.
Okay, so, well, you're gonna be, if I had to take the 20 grand out of there, you'd be way ahead of the game.
Yeah, we haven't done the fall grading yet either,
Right.
which could so.
I mean, I really feel uncomfortable adding another line to the budget. I've got 3 new members to the budget committee. You know, if it wasn't there 100 years ago or even 5 years ago, they don't want to talk about it, so
If you do it,
can we just include it in the fall maintenance line?
I suppose we could, but when I first started, there was 4 lines. And I was told that doesn't work. I need
That doesn't.
more detail.
Yeah.
If we don't have detail, then they're not gonna sign on. So I'm trying to get more detail because before it was basically spring maintenance.
Let me read them through this first year here.
Okay, however you wanna do it, it's good with me.
So we're gonna move that to fall maintenance,
with a question mark.
the knotweed?
No question marks, we have to decide.
Doing it? I say do it.
So are you calling it 41,000?
I make a motion that we increase fall maintenance to read $41,000, which will include Japanese knotweed control.
Okay, so put a memo under fall maintenance that would read, Japanese knotweed control, $1,000. So when that budget gets presented to the budget committee,
You'll remember why.
Motion's been made and seconded. Just
Aye.
aye.
Okay, so I'm gonna recommend the total budget for highway at $681,800. That's budget 4312.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that budget can go to the budget committee as well.
Do we quickly want to address the
Dump truck.
issue of buying a dump truck while we got Jim right here?
Yeah.
I don't want to hold up our attorney any longer than we have to.
Okay, so you're looking at, I'm sorry, Guy, did you wanna do it, or you want me?
Well, that's fine, go right ahead.
Okay, you're looking at a purchase and sale of $169,816. Am I right?
Correct, so.
Okay, and they're not gonna give us another $4,000 for our trade-in because we did $8,000 worth of work.
I basically had to, kick and complain and moan to get the 7. They wanted to give us 65.
Oh,
Good job on that, if they'll stick with it.
He said we will, as long as the thing is in the same condition when we turn it in.
better condition, buddy.
Right.
It's
inspected.
down.
I did explain,
Yeah.
we just spent a lot
Okay,
of money.
when can we have this truck?
They said the first quarter of the year.
I thought they said they had it in stock.
No, we'll get the first one that rolls in.
Okay, and this is completed with plows and all the rest of the stuff that you need.
Yep, lights,
No
everything.
full tank of fuel, right?
Well, probably when it left the yard and,
Well, I'm concerned about, I support this, but I'm concerned about using this truck that we just put all this money into and having it not be in the same condition that it's in right now come the first quarter of the year.
we'll make sure that it does, and if not, I'll take responsibility for it.
Okay, let me just, can I take a brief pause to go ask Kathy about money?
Yes?
Yes.
And we'll vote on this.
Hello.
Oh, that's in our administrative secretary updates. Vote on whether Jim Bean is ordering a new dump truck. Imagine that. Wonder why I brought that up while he was sitting right here. Don't forget those wood chips.
Yeah. That could be too.
Well, maybe a representative to the Agricultural Commission are on me about it. It's like, okay, I'll ask him again.
Yeah, sorry about that. I actually.
That is the least of any, least of my worries. Community guidance. They put it to sleep when they put it to sleep. If they put it to sleep at all, they're not gonna deal with it anymore, so. What do you do, right?
I think what we need to do is advertise it.
Yeah, soon,
And
sooner the better.
if we got it soon enough, we could have put it in this issue of the Tuftonboro Times, but
Right.
it'll have to go in next issue of Tuftonboro Times.
Yes. Well, let's see, we're only, yeah, probably only an hour behind schedule.
So I did mention, about the budget, where I'm at with the 22,000 missing. So one of my questions, I wanted your advice, Chip gets back, you guys can answer it or whatever, but do I continue on road grading like it's all good?
Well, if you
I think we'll make it, but not if we have a storm of some type.
had to not grade a road, do you, or two, do you have a priority?
Yeah.
You must know which is worse, I mean.
I do know which one's worse, I know the people complain the most too.
Yes.
So maybe we start with those and see how things go along.
Might be the way.
I think you ought to trudge forward carefully,
Hmm.
because you have $22,000 taken out of your budget that you weren't expecting. And, you know, if you had to get away without road grading, you could. That's my humble opinion.
Yep.
You'd ready for the snowplow, right?
Yeah.
Does get better.
When you get potholes in the snow, it's less fun.
But on the total side, I dealt with one of the abutters on Willand Road extensively. I put a lot of time in to tell him why he has to pay, even though he doesn't use the road. You're off the hook.
Thank you.
Go on.
Taking the 8 off me.
That's all right.
Oh,
Hey, here we go.
All right, currently we've got $186,427 in the Recovery Act. We also have $74,000, I think it is, in the highway block grant money, so we've got $260,000. So we can decide through a business meeting what we're gonna take it out. Because we may wanna leave some of the recovery money in there because it's more easy to use.
What's the total expense after trading?
$169,816.
Well, Jim is asking again about grading, whether he should proceed with grading because he's $22,000 short on his budget. If he proceeded with the grading and he ended up being short at the end of the year because of that, part of this money, this grant money, is available to use for that purpose, to fill in a shortfall.
I think you're overthinking it a little bit.
Maybe.
I mean, for the first 3 years I was here, he was over budget every year.
Okay.
So we have money enough to make everything happen. What the budget has been doing lately, for the last 3 years, is constraining Jim into a more manageable amount of money spent. But I don't want to bring a grading into the argument or the discussion about these funds. He needs to just run his budget the way he's running his budget. And then we get to decide where we're going to use the money. So it doesn't matter if he runs over $12,000 on his annual budget, that's not going to affect our overall operating budget. It's just going to reduce the amount of money that we have for the undesignated fund balance.
Well, I have a problem with blindly going in and saying, yeah, if we go over budgets, no problem, we'll find the money elsewhere. I got a problem with that.
It's not blindly doing it, however.
All right, I'll take back that term, but I still have a problem with marching forward.
Okay, then, can we do one thing at a time?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we authorize the purchase of this dump truck for $169,816.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So that's done. With the grading, because we approved his budget the way it stands, that's the 23 budget. The 22 budget. How much short are you gonna be on that?
I actually, if we don't get a surprise storm of a windstorm or early snowstorms kill us.
Let's just deal with that line item.
We'll be okay. I think we're okay. We've saved some money in other accounts.
Right, but on that line item, are you gonna be over?
On fall,
Yeah.
it's gonna be super close.
If you
We
do
go
the
over
grading.
probably a little bit.
Okay. I mean, do you wanna make an allocation out of the, highway block grant money?
Well,
I hate to do it.
I'm
I
just,
don't mind,
want to be prepared.
I don't mind making an agreement that we'll take it out of highway block grant if it goes over, but we don't know how much it's gonna be, so it's hard to vote on a number.
Yeah, I realize that, but we can establish intent anyways. I just, knowing that you're gonna go over budget and going over budget, you gotta think really carefully about that. This is why we have budgets.
Yeah, and this is what I'm asking. Just trying to be safe that we
Okay.
do what we need to do.
And you're right to ask.
We can go into long philosophical discussions about, we're creating a budget for 2023 with a lot of assumptions. The fuel, I mean, you're thinking 550, I'm thinking 5, it might be 6. But we have to make some assumptions in October for what's gonna happen next July or August or even next April. We may be right, we may not be right. So we're always gonna be in a situation where the budget isn't truly reflective of what's happening in the world.
Well, we went over on paving, and where did we get that money from?
We took the money out of the block grant, not the block grant, the,
ARPA?
yeah, I'm sorry.
Then the same scenario applies if he ends up going over because of this $22,000 that we took out.
Okay, that's an option. But don't marry yourself to the notion that we have to have a line item free accounting. Because what you're gonna end up with at the end of the year, let's say he does his grading, and his budget is over by 20 grand, let's say. You're gonna have at least $130,000 in unspent money in the whole budget.
His whole budget,
No, the whole
No, the
budget
overall
of the town.
overall budget.
Right, so do you wanna just, okay, now we're at $100,000 unspent. So we've run $100,000 in the black for the year. Or do you wanna dip into money here just so that we can show his budget as not being over? Because now you've spent money that you could use someplace else. The undesignated fund balance, you can't. You only have one use you can put it to, and that is to reduce taxes. I realize it's an extended conversation, but.
No, it's a good conversation nonetheless.
And we may want to keep it until he goes over and have it again.
And if we don't get a lot of snow, that could be under.
Right.
Mhm.
We get a lot of snow, his winter budget could be over.
Yeah, that's the one I'm actually most concerned about. You know.
I would say grade the roads. That's just an opinion. We don't need to vote on that, do we?
No, I was just asking for advice.
My advice is grade the roads.
We'll do that.
Okay, so just so we know,
And if he goes over budget,
then we'll talk,
if we have a place to, yeah, okay.
okay? So right now in the American Recovery Fund's money, we have $170,000, so we can pay for the dump truck, if we want to use all of it. But this money in American Recovery is far more flexible than the highway block grant money. So we may want to use part of the highway block grant money in addition to part of this, just so you know.
Okay.
Are we done yet?
Go get those wood chips.
Okay, good job. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you,
And
Jim.
Are you gonna be at the budget hearing or meeting?
So, I don't know when it is, when is it? I haven't heard.
27th, I think, but they'll let you know.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't really notified last year, so.
Okay, so maybe you don't need to be there, up to you. Okay. I'm gonna make a motion that we go into non-public RSA 91A:3, Roman rule 2 for a meeting with our lawyer and for public reputation. That's the reason for the non-public.
I'll second.
I need to ask our council a question about this before I make a roll call vote. Do I roll call vote first to go non-public and then recuse myself? Or do I recuse myself and not roll call vote to go into non-public?
I don't think it matters one way or
Yeah,
another.
no, I think you vote because
Okay,
you're voting on the issue of going into the non-public.
yep,
Whether you attend the non-public is the next issue.
okay.
So,
I vote yes,
okay. Pike, yes.
Murray, yes.
I'll be yes.
and now I'll recuse myself
Thanks.
and leave the room.
Are you all set, Bob?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna go into the signature file. First item for signature is an intent to cut, and it's on lot 5126.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
10, what was it, the 18th?
17.
17.
17.
Yeah.
And our staff has gone through the training by DRA about yield tax levy. And I've got a yield tax levy here for, what, 1629 for $1,215.
Move to assign, second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
This has 3 signatures, because we've
Dumage.
got the Dumage. Gosh. I have another yield tax levy for map and lot 5236.
Move to assign.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And another yield tax levy for $627.5123, Mountain Lot.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. And a Division of Emergency Services and Communications, State of New Hampshire Department of Safety, Operations Liaison Form, listing Jack Parsons and Cammy Wakefield for the liaison operations. It requires 1 signature.
Motion to have the chairman sign.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I guess we have to keep the check. I've got a application for current use, enrolling 48 acres of a total from a 50-acre parcel. And this is 141 Ledge Hill Road. Huh. There's a lot that big up there. And it's,
Paperwork's in order,
it appears
you
to be.
presume? Came through
Oh,
the tax collector?
I see, it's right across the street from my sister's. Holly Duke's place.
Okay.
Used to be Holly
Right.
Duke's.
Again, if it's in order according to our tax collector, I move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, wow. I'm gonna go on municipal officers, that's us. And a corrective right of burial,
Yes.
and I guess they have the wrong site.
Yes, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And a right of burial for Barbara and Clark McClure.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And a right of burial for Kernsky Townhouse Cemetery.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And a right of burial for the Townhouse Cemetery for George.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we've got amendment number 1 for the North Country Village Cooperative. And this is regard to the general provisions of the grant that they were given and their authority to, I think, block grants have awarded, enter into a contract with the Community Development Finance Authority and further authorize the Chairman of Board of Selectmen to execute any documents which may be necessary to effectuate this contract and any amendments thereto. Further certify that these authorizations have not been revoked, annulled, or amended in any manner. So this is updating the agreement the town has with the North Country Village for the management of their block grant money. Requires one signature.
Motion to have the chairman sign.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Requires two. Oh, that's town. Emergency Action Plan, Cops Pond Dam. This is, notification flow charge, general responsibilities, notification procedures, preventative actions, project descriptions, breach, inundation map. So this is a description complete of the Cops Pond Dam and also methods and means to handle any breach. Let's see where it's going. And it requires one signature.
Motion to have the chairman sign.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Action items. I guess what's next, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Herbert Way boat ramp and barge traffic.
We discussed that earlier with the code officer.
Okay. Is there anything else that we need to talk about in regard to that?
I don't know what it would be.
I'm sorry?
I don't know what it would be. I had done considerable research on this before it even got to Jack at the request of a resident
Right.
to find out exactly what was going on. And since I happened to have the town reports back to like 1902, I was able to find everything. It's well within order to restrict the use of those ramps.
I think the impact has been changed because Wolfboro restricted barge traffic to just the
Yeah.
launch at Liberty.
Right,
Museum.
that's what it does seem to be.
So that's pushing everything.
Right.
up
I
in
think
our
we're all
direction.
set with it.
But it doesn't change the fact that the only place that we accept commercial docking is at Pier 19.
Not at all, except for it's been sort of lying fallow for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got 2 proposals for our landscape mowing.
We back up for a second.
Sure.
If we're gonna be seeing a lot more traffic, commercial barge traffic at Pier 19, should we institute a similar user fee for commercial barges? Should we? I'm asking the question. I'm not saying whether we should or not, I'm asking whether you think we should. Otherwise, we're gonna be seeing an awful lot of traffic
Well, we need to restrict the usage to just Tuftonboro properties, that would be one thing we could do. By instituting a user fee, let's assume that we can control the use of it to just Tuftonboro Island property or lakefront property. Instituting a user fee is just passing down the expense to the landowner, because the barge guy isn't gonna pay it without charging for it. So, is that, it's a user fee to the landowner, is that something we wanna get into? I guess, that's another rhetorical question, it's just one that is open for.
Would we issue a permit, much like the transfer station sticker? Because otherwise, somebody would have to stand there and every time a barge came in, take money, and that's not practical at
No,
all.
you'd have to have
And once you issue a permit, sticker or whatever it may be, there's no telling where he came from with his barge.
There's a lot of honor system involved, but I don't think Tuftonboro residents should have to pay a user fee. But if somebody's coming to do something over at the island in Moultonboro, Long Island, and then Tuftonboro happens to be closest, for whatever reason, do a couple trips a day for 3 weeks in a row, I don't know. That doesn't seem like an appropriate use of our facility.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easier to, I can get to Long Island by boat faster than I can by car.
Right. Right, but Arilla Landing is closer than 19 Mile Pier.
Right.
So there are options for getting out there with a barge. I mean, the other question is, we're gonna spend a significant amount of money rebuilding that pier. How much wear and tear is it gonna take by being the only place that people can do barge work? I think we need to have a discussion. I don't know if I wanna have it today.
No.
I can't have it today.
Yeah, probably not today, but.
And barge season's coming to an end shortly anyway.
Right,
We have some time.
so let's put that on our tickler list there, Cammy, and we'll bring it up at a later date.
Yep.
Cause we have to see how impactful, enforcing this rule against using Hobart Way by barges is gonna be, and how that's gonna work. I mean, the other part of that is that Tuftonboro Neck Road is worn out. The bridge is getting worn out. I mean, there are a lot of houses out there that need work. Having barge traffic with dump trucks adding to that, I don't think is a good thing either. I think it's not helping the road out, it's not helping the bridge out. So, anyway, let's have that discussion some other day.
Okay, as long as we have it.
Yeah. I think, I'll make a motion that the selectmen recommend, or direct the police chief and others here in town to enforce the ban on using Hurlburt Way boat ramp for barge traffic.
Including putting up proper signage.
Sure. Okay, and include, who's gonna do, Jack's gonna do the signs?
I think our
We
road
already
agent.
asked the road agent.
Okay, so the road agent's gonna do signage, so.
Yeah.
Second.
Any more discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so let's get a memo off to the chief of police, whether or not he wants to do the work or not, he's gonna have to. We've got 2 proposals for mowing and shoveling.
Yes,
Have you looked at them?
Yes.
yes.
Are we ready to vote on them?
I don't know.
I don't either. It's, well, one's basically half of the other. I'm not sure how the lower bid can provide the services that are outlined in great detail in the higher one for that money.
I'm torn between the price. I mean, clearly, the lower price is much lower, but I'm lacking a level of confidence to accept that lower proposal.
So am I.
So you don't think $16,860 is enough money to do the job. Right?
Well,
I didn't say that.
the other proposal kind of gives us a lot more information about the cost. And knowing the two applicants as I do, I have a lot more faith in the higher proposal to get the work done. Simply, how am I going to put that? I might have to go non-public to even discuss it at this point.
Yeah, it's contractual, but do you wanna award this today, or what do we wanna do?
Well, we can't keep kicking the can down the road.
No.
Kathy wants it done today.
Who wants it done?
Kathy
I don't
does.
care what anybody wants. We get to drive the bus here. Thank you very much.
Is this something that we do in non-public because it's dealing with, no?
Nope. We do, if we wanted to,
I'm attracted by the lower price,
okay,
but I don't have a high level of confidence
that's gonna happen.
that's gonna happen. I'm, even though the other price is higher, I'm more comfortable because, you know, the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. We're paying a little bit more money, but we know the level of service that we're getting. Somebody's coming in to do it for half the price, and I just don't see the crew, the equipment.
Well, no, I mean, obviously you can gather all that together. He doesn't have a job right now.
No.
So why he shouldn't have the crew sitting around doing nothing, waiting for this to go through. So I don't have a problem with the ability to do it. If there's a problem, you feel there's a problem that he's gonna run out of income before he runs out of work sometime in June, because it's half the price.
When you see such a disparity in pricing, something's wrong. I can't put my finger on what's wrong, but something's wrong.
Okay. Did anybody talk to Kathy about what we're currently paying?
I believe what we're paying currently is very close to the higher bid that we have.
I looked at the budget figures and it's a slight increase on the big number.
Okay, so it's not, he didn't just go up 50%.
No,
Okay.
and the bigger number, again, the detail given in the one proposal is, you know, right there. The other one's just kind of like, I'll do it. It's not the professional presentation that I would expect from the person in question, who I don't really want to mention unless we go on.
Well, you don't have to. The other part is that the higher bid has more description because it has a historical
Yes,
reference.
yes.
As opposed to the lower bid, which has no historical reference.
Right.
And you can't get a historical reference like this from our current accounting system.
Right.
So,
So we've got a proven performer versus an unknown for half the price.
yeah, I don't have a problem with the personality of half the price. I understand the problem being that it's so much lower, it seems unworkable.
Well, again, I'm not talking about personalities, I'm talking about a proven level of performance
Right.
against an unknown. And as you say, the disparity in the cost is,
It's huge. And so there's something wrong.
Okay, we're not gonna fix it today, and
No.
you can't provide this to a bidder who didn't create it and say, find out what your problem is.
No, we have what we have. The bids have been presented, and we need to act on them, one way or the
Okay,
other.
I'm gonna make a motion that we make an action of some kind. That we vote on awarding the shoveling and mowing.
I will second that motion that we act.
All right.
All in
Now I make
favor?
a motion. Okay, all in favor of acting today?
Yes.
Okay, Now, somebody make a motion for who you want to award it to.
I would make the motion that we award to, and I don't know the name on top, but the
Village
higher
Green,
of the two bidders.
Village Green Landscaping.
I would make a motion that we award the contract to Village Green Landscape.
And I will second that motion because I believe that it's a proven entity. It's a more highly detailed proposal, and we have a working history that is proven.
Okay, any other discussion? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Aye. The reason for my vote is that I think a good faith effort was made. I would have liked to have more time to create something better, but I'm not certain that Village Green deserved 3 votes. So
Fair enough?
that's where we're at.
Fair enough.
So Village Green has been awarded that.
Yes.
Tell Kathy to get off my back. Next action item, the DOT Federal Highway Administration. It's got all kinds of good stuff for us. So this is a application for 2 programs will amount to $160 million. We can use all of it. Thank you very much. Smart Grants Program. So we'll provide this. Who does our highway grants? Cammy? Is that Susan?
She probably could.
I think she should take a look at it
Okay.
and report back to us. What is this? Who do I need that open? Oh, the CIP? What do you need to know about the CIP?
Well, don't we need to make a
You
presentation
need
to
to-
CIP soon?
Someone needs to do the CIP report. I mean, the
Presentation?
application that's on the website.
What? Application for what?
CIP? You
Anything
have to
that
go
we want-
down through and answer all the questions. I don't know the answers.
Oh, they have, okay.
And what are we presenting to the CIP?
We presented, they're done.
Did you present the fire protection system for the vault? Or is that just gonna go straight to a warrant article?
I'm just gonna go to a warrant article.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're done with CIP, although I'm sure there's another CIP meeting coming up at some point. They'll want me to attend. Where's my?
Are we ready for Kathy to come back in for the rest of the budgets?
Yep, let's do some more budgets. Get 'em out
Okay.
here. Okay, so we haven't voted on financial administration yet. But we're about to. Oh, we need to talk about that too.
What are we starting with?
Administration. Financial administration. Okay, we had a chat about,
4150.
4150. We had a chat about the security system and also the postage meter.
Okay.
And this budget, as it stands, is going up $5,571. So, did you have any more discussion about what's in this?
If I could find it, I might.
Thick one.
I think it's
Well, you got
over
some stuff
here.
underneath your,
Yeah, there's stuff everywhere, but that's
I think that's it.
Parks and Recreation,
Nope, I'm sorry.
all road agents.
We did look at all the backup, so we know where the numbers are coming from, right?
well, I haven't had a whole lot of time to go through
Yeah.
this. I just got this morning, I walked in the door.
Oh,
Was in your packet before Friday. Just so you know.
Where's my packet? When I come in here on
that,
Thursday,
that green thing.
when I come in here on Thursday afternoon, there's just the stuff that I need to,
Right.
checks to sign.
Right.
If there's stuff in my packet, I'd like to see it.
Friday.
Friday, I come in on Thursday afternoons.
Me as well.
Yeah, I mean, if it was on the table, that would be helpful, unless you tell me where to find
I
it.
don't always have it done by Thursday morning because she's not
I'm not here on
Thursdays.
Thursday.
But I will make an attempt to have
Yeah.
your budgets ready for you on Thursday, that you're gonna review the following Monday.
We don't have too many more to do.
Still. What's the budget? Huh, I'm gonna have to wing it.
4150 does not look spectacular. It's, nothing jumps out as being.
No, the only changes are the $6,000 office equipment first line, but then there's a $10,000 reduction in videotaping. And your lease equipment has gone up by $200.
And that's just because of the new meter, I'm feeling.
And then the computer maintenance and IT on the second page has gone up
Quite a bit.
with the inclusion of the safety, cyber security stuff. Miscellaneous is the same. All of the rest of the line items are the same. So those are really the only changes over year to year.
I move that we accept 4150 as presented, $173,892.
I'll second. All those in favor?
I have a question.
Sure, I'm sorry.
We have this, a tax collector budget request, and we have a financial administration budget
It's
request.
in it,
And so this is included in this.
correct.
Beautiful, put it that way. I'm all set,
Sure?
yes.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Next budget is the Jen's budget, 4140, election registration, vital statistics.
She wanted to come in.
Do you want to come in?
Well, she just,
Is she okay?
if you need her.
Oh, okay.
If you have any
only-
questions.
One budget went up, the town clerk's budget, because she got her COLA. The rest of the budgets went down.
So can I explain something to you with this budget? So she used to put in her vital records into her budget.
Yeah.
And we found that New Hampshire Fish and Game is an in and out, and actually Vital Records is an in and out. So she came to me and said, why do I have to budget this if it goes in and out through the state? I said, I don't know, it's just in there, I don't know why. So we contacted the auditors, and we contacted Michelle, and we questioned it. And they said, that's how your town did it. So the auditor does not see a problem with us going in and out, because that's how New
Where,
Hampshire Fish and Game.
in the historicals I'm looking at here, going back
Yeah.
to 2017, there's no line for that,
For vital statistics.
vital statistics.
No,
Is
there
it on
isn't.
another
It's
budget?
within it, it's in her, let me see, she would have to tell you for sure, but I think it's within,
Town clerk expenses?
I think that's where it, let me check with her.
Because it says vital stats. Go to page 2, the next page. It says vital stats right there.
Yeah,
Even though there's not an item, there's not a line.
Did you find it?
No, it's just the title, it's just in the title.
Yeah. They're all vital statistics,
That must
in
be-
my opinion.
That must be town clerk expenses? I don't know. No, probably not.
No, if you look at the historicals, that's written about what it's been, so I don't think anything's
I don't think anything's the worst.
changed.
I'm impressed that the budget would go down.
Well, fewer elections, we had,
I know, but that's nice to see, regardless of how it gets. budget committee likes to see your budget for that.
Okay, town clerk. I don't know what this is.
She's got a customer, but let me look in her budget from last year.
Well, there's a line here that says we've removed vital statistic fees from the town clerk expense budget as
Right.
we've taken money for that, pay the state portion of those fees collected, capital adjusting the revenue expense account in 2023 to track those as we've done with fishing.
Yep, so you have the answer right there. It used to be in
But don't we still have to show it?
town clerk. Well, it will be shown as far as, like when you run your expense report, it'll be on this expense report.
No, but don't we have to show it in the budget? Because we pay the state of New Hampshire.
But then we get the money back, they pay
We
it.
did the same thing with car registrations, we did the same thing with
Right, but that's all, that only shows up on our income.
ZBA.
We
zoning board
make
is in
money
and
on
out.
that.
It doesn't show up on our expenses. The only one where it did was planning board, and then I think we changed that for engineering. But we don't, like car registration, that's only on our income statement. That's the net that we get.
Because we get a proportion of it, we get to keep a portion of
Yeah,
it.
but don't we, because when I register my car, I write a check to the town of Tuftonboro. Don't we have to write a check to the state of New Hampshire?
No, you don't,
Not
you only
anymore.
write
No,
one.
you don't.
We write
It's
one.
One check.
No, the people. I'm saying, doesn't the town have to write a check to the state of New Hampshire?
No, it's all done electronically. I don't know, you can talk to her about it.
But doesn't it show up as an expense? Even though we get the money in and we make a couple bucks off of
But
it.
it's in a liability account, a 2020 account, it's just like,
I just thought you had to show the ins, the outs as well as the ins, that's all. I'm
well,
saying.
you do, but you just don't see it
You
in
don't
her
need to run it
actual
in the
budget.
budget, that's the difference.
Yeah.
It needs to be accounted for in our general ledger, but it doesn't need to be in our budget. when
In
it's
her
just
budget.
flipping. Or there's a couple other ones that it doesn't do that, or it just flips through. And all you're really worrying about is the net income.
Yeah, because planning board fees,
Right.
those are in and out, but we show them in the budget.
Well, they're trying to change that too, actually, they've been meeting with Jack about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I contacted the auditor and he said, I don't know why you guys did it like that. There's a lot of towns don't. And I said, well, if we can change it, are you gonna be all right with that? And he said, yeah, it's in and out. It still gets traced by them and the state, but it's under another account,
Right.
liability
And the
account.
state generates the fee to the state, so that's gonna be your protection against abuse of that account, because the state wants to get their money. And so your remainder is a reflection of what actually happened as opposed to
Correct.
us keeping money.
So, yeah, so she took that part of it out of it, so, like, here's state fees for vital
It
statistics.
can't have been a lot, because we,
I know, huh? Because it doesn't, because it's still this, she's close to the same amount,
yeah.
4140. I want to see what she had for last year.
Well, do we want to see her before we vote on this?
Yeah, do you want to see it?
I'm
She's got a
fine, vote on it the
customer.
way it is.
I'm happy with the number.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve 4140 election town clerk budget for $94,941.
Second?
All those, any more discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, it was 1,300 last year.
All right.
Okay. We did
Next.
Parks and Rec.
We
Right?
did Parks and, I think we did Parks and Rec.
You did?
Yep.
So we've got,
You've got,
health agencies.
health agencies, which I didn't give you the backup's right there.
Yeah.
That's all the requests. in
So
that
we had a
folder.
request from all of these that are on this list. White Horse Addiction did not give us a request.
And I contacted them, and the reason they're not giving a request is the county said if you're gonna collect from every town,
Yeah, we did that when I was there.
and so
We
they,
get one dip. We
Yeah.
don't
right,
get double
exactly.
dip.
Yeah.
So they decided to go with the county amount instead of the town now, so they are no longer gonna be requesting.
Okay. So, Tri-County Action went up by $101. Starting Point went up by a lot, by $1,200, $1,300. Kingswood Youth Center's the same, caregivers.
Went down.
Oh yeah, caregivers went down $500.
68
And
hours.
68 hours, 100 went up $200. And then we have no White Horse Addiction, so the net difference is
Down budget.
about $1,200.
Mm.
$1,200 less than last year.
I would make the motion to approve health agencies for the $40,815 that we have requests.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So
Did we
you-
do the evaluation? We did that.
We did it.
Okay.
You even presented it to the budget board.
I did.
And I
And
helped you.
just for, well, I'll do that for the selectmen's reports.
Planning and zoning here.
We did that one.
We did that
Why
one.
do I have it here?
I don't know.
Maybe you didn't take it out of your folder the last time.
I think you guys did planning and zoning when the planning board was here.
We did.
It's 10/12. This is printed on,
Yeah,
this is run on
is it
10/12.
Gary?
This is run,
Gary Ball?
no, last Wednesday.
I don't even have it, so
This is run last Wednesday.
I know I don't have it for
Is
sure.
it planning and zoning only?
Cemeteries, insurance.
Oh, that's your
Oh, that's the,
expenditure
that's the
fund.
current budget, not,
Oh,
That's your
okay.
expenditure.
This is the
that's,
expenditure.
I'm sorry.
I ran that so that you'd have.
Are these?
Yeah.
Okay,
So you'll have these four, for the next budget committee. You'll have these four, plus you tabled one last time when you met with them.
yeah, I'm
So
gonna
you
write a
have-
letter today to send to them, because we're gonna take that off the table, because I was not working at 100%, being that
Right.
they got buried my mom.
And I apologize. I could have told them
Yeah,
what was going on, but I spaced it too.
and I'll write a letter explaining how that transition between Diane policy and you and Kim happened, and how that drove the budget over by, I don't know, what it was 15.
Well, because September, October, November, December, 4 months
Yeah,
of
right.
2 people in one position, yeah.
3 people
In
in
two
2
positions.
positions.
Right, 3 people in 2 positions.
3 people in 2 positions.
This is a revaluation of property. We approved this,
You guys did
we
that
did
one.
that last week, right?
Yeah, the two of you, because I had a little change, I forgot seeing Susie's name.
Okay.
So you should be all set
I'll
for the
stop.
next
I
budget
think.
committee.
Yep.
I
Oh.
spoke with,
So,
Adam is gonna try to get me I told everyone, try to get numbers into me
yeah, we
Wednesday.
need fire, are we meeting next Monday?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
4:30.
Can we do
24th.
Fire and police next
20,
More,
4th.
they have to
Fourth.
give it to me.
Fourth.
Now, Bill, Jim just gave me his. I'm
Yeah.
not at 100% today either. Jim just gave me his. You didn't get it because he hadn't given it to me, but I'll plug it all in, and but you don't have to re-vote on it.
We changed 2 things on this, I
Yeah,
think,
he told me.
Okay,
You know, you got rid of the Japanese, went into
Right.
the fall.
right.
Okay. He told
And
me.
I think the fuel changed as well, so you have to remember that.
Yep, he wrote it down for me.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah, so
verify.
that we voted on that.
Right,
that
so
be
I can
right
just
to-
plug it in and I
Right.
can send that over to the budget committee too. Okay,
Okay.
anything else?
Thanks. I don't think so right this
I'm
second.
good.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
administrative secretary updates.
Correspondence.
I'm gonna do
Okay,
this first.
okay, that's fine.
God, she's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, Wolfboro Farmers Market decide how you want the Pop Whalen public hearing, that's the next one. Okay, the Wolfboro Farmers Market has gone through, and I don't remember voting on this, did we vote on this? For them to use the townhouse?
I don't ever
I don't
remember
recall
voting.
voting on that.
Did you
No.
find us voting on that, Cammy, anywhere?
You didn't vote on it, it was just brought up.
Okay.
And no
So-
one seemed to have a problem with them using the townhouse as long as no one was using it, is what it was.
So, some concern has been voiced. And the major concern that I have is that you're allowing, for all intents and purposes, a commercial operation 3 days before a general election. How's it gonna look when they leave? You know, how clean is it gonna be? How much work we're gonna have to do to set the polls up and work out of there? Or is it something that we wanna have happen, you know, duty-free here at Tupperware Township?
So this is something that's a commercial entity, not even a
Multiple commercial entities.
multiple commercial entity.
People selling their vegetables and whatever, right?
Yeah, it's a,
So it's a group, but it's multiple.
I don't know how they charge, I don't know anything about that.
I tend to think that having it 3 days before a general election is a bad idea.
Well, it's Friday afternoon, 3 to 6 is what she's looking for.
Right,
And when do we set up for elections? How much?
Monday,
On Mondays?
yeah.
The Monday before, Tuesday?
Monday following that Friday.
If it's a commercial entity, we should charge for the use and have a memorandum of understanding, MOU.
Insurance.
Yeah, if we're gonna do it, we can do it right. I don't think we should, a commercial entity, we shouldn't just let anybody willy-nilly use it.
All right, so I'm gonna ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to deny the request of the use of the townhouse by the Wolfboro Community or Farmers Market or whatever.
Need a second? And we're only denying it as it stands. They never came to us.
Not precluding future use.
We're not precluding a future meeting, if you will.
And we're denying it, why?
Can we second it and then we can discuss?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay. The reason we're denying it initially here is that it's too close to the general election. That's one reason. Second, we don't know what status they are. Are they a for-profit entity? Are their fees being generated? Are they insured? And there are all a number of things that are unanswered. I can't answer them. I don't think you can either, so
No.
the only one who can would be the director of whatever this farmer's market is.
And unless we have a process in place for renting out facilities to commercial entities, we shouldn't.
Well, that's a policy, and we've never done it before, so we've never had to really create a policy like that.
Well, now we're asked.
But- And we can do it on a per occurrence basis. That's another discussion. If we just wanna, because we may not wanna limit Tuftonboro groups in the same way that we limit out-of-town groups, so. That's for another day.
Good.
So we've got a motion and a second to say no with the limited information that we have.
Yes.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? No. Okay. Decide how you want the Pop Wheel and public hearing to read. Vote on, okay. Yeah, we've already voted on whether or not Jim is gonna buy a new dump truck. When are we having the Pop Whalen hearing?
It's supposed to be the
November
14th of November.
So we need to get busy.
At first I heard of that. Why didn't I hear about that?
I don't know.
I didn't miss any meetings or anything.
It was when they were here, sitting here.
Yeah,
We decided to do it on the 14th at that time. Okay.
I've got it logged in my memory.
yeah, I didn't know. It wasn't in my memory either.
Maybe it's just because I don't think it's even worthwhile, but that.
Okay, at any rate,
Yep.
we're gonna have a public hearing. How do we want the notice to read?
That was your idea. How do you want the notice to read?
I would say that Wolfboro has approached the town of Tuftonboro for a donation to the Pop Whalen skating rink,
Or whatever it's called.
or whatever it's called. I'm not gonna call it an art center.
Call it a recreational
Let's just call it
facility.
Friends of Pop Whalen.
Completely inappropriate. Friends of Pop Whalen have requested a donation from the town of Tuftonboro to support the construction of the facility at Abenaki. And the selectmen would like any and all public input into whether or not we should support this.
That's it in a nutshell.
That's it, yeah, that's good.
We should probably, because if we do support it, what's gonna happen? You should probably mention that. Whether we should bring this forward to the voters for.
We'd have to.
You don't have
Yeah, I
any
know,
choice.
but I mean, a lot of people are gonna read that and say, well, what happens next?
Okay.
I don't
Okay,
know.
and so to say, to whether or not to support a warrant article for the 2023 budget to support the Pop Whalen Arena, or whatever it's called.
The solicitation, yeah. Got that, Cammy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. In correspondence, we've got,
But, text away. I mean, our,
Yeah, Jen has a couple of questions.
Two questions. Hopefully I'll be quick. Thank you for approving the budget.
you're welcome.
I appreciate that. There is a warrant here, basically just saying that we're meeting at the Tuftonboro Townhouse to vote on November 8th, and I need the selectman's signature on that. There's 3 signatures, one just stating it, and then the next one stating that it's gonna be posted as of today.
so are we down here in this spot?
You actually signed both places,
Both
I don't know
places.
why.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we sign this and support our democratic process for upcoming general election.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And second issue?
Just a question, our deputy town clerk is part-time, so she's not included on the health insurance. She, is now paying for her health insurance with Cobra from her prior position. I'm just curious if it would be an option for her to join our health insurance, however, pay her way. She's trying to look at her options for health insurance. And I don't know if that would be something you would
Okay,
want to
every
consider.
employee of the town, including myself, has the option of purchasing.
Right, so she could do
Because
that.
I purchased the dental insurance, and I reimburse the town for that
Right.
purchase, when they can catch up with me. So she always has that option.
Okay,
I don't know whether or not, she's also the deputy tax collector, and those 2 positions don't accumulate into a full-time.
no,
Okay.
no, we don't. So she would be part-time, so I just wanted to know if that was an option, if she was able to sign up for it, and then she could pay
I
her own.
wanted, when I was a selectman back in the early 2000s, I said every voter in Tuftonboro is a member of government because they're our representatives of the government.
Yeah, the
And they should all be able to purchase their health insurance the same as we have here at the town.
Okay.
And DRA just, their hair caught on fire, just the thought of it.
They're the legislative body of Tuftonboro, aren't they?
Exactly. At any rate,
All right, well, I will let
Yeah,
her know,
because-
and once I know I can tell her this is what the cost would be, and then she can compare
Yeah.
her other options. So,
and I
awesome.
don't know whether,
And
Wait,
on
wait.
that note,
what?
and on that note,
Oh, you're gonna give us the health insurance stuff?
but
Okay,
just
I'll
for
give
you to
you-
start reviewing it, we don't need to go over it.
Thank you very much.
You want me to make 3 copies?
Did make 3 copies.
Okay, while we've got you here, not to prolong this discussion, because I'm not feeling well, but can you ask Health Trust, in that situation, can they pick and choose what they buy?
Oh, I think the town has to choose one
Plan,
plan.
okay.
I'm almost positive, but I'll ask the question anyway. So let me just run by you real quick so you know what I gave you. Is the first page is some comparisons of the latest ones. The second page, our current one is not listed on there. We have gone up 11.7% because we're 50 employees or less, so we're in a pool. But last year we went down 8.1%. So like their rationale is that, yeah, well, you went up 11 points, but you really only went up because you went down 8.1 last year. But anyway, the first page is some comparisons. The second page, they don't have our current on there, so I copied from last year. This is what we currently are in and what we're going to be paying in 2023. And then the back page just gives you the highlight of what it's jumped from. This is what we were paying on our current, and this is what we're going to be paying on our current.
Okay, and the next thing you have to create, and we're not gonna
And I
discuss this
have,
today,
okay. Go ahead.
is a total. So what's the gross gonna be? Like you've got the premium costs, now we need to know, we've got 17 employees and they're all a little different. How much is gonna, what's that line gonna look like?
I got that all figured out for you as well.
Next week?
Do you want it, me to print it out now? I can do
No,
that.
you won't.
All right.
No, for next week?
Yeah.
If you want for next week, I just want you guys to have time to really mull it over. One of the things I wanted to bring up to you all is she mentioned, can I, just
Yeah.
1 second? She meant, Teresa from Health Trust mentioned, I was saying, well, you've gone up quite a bit, blah, blah, blah. So she was saying that if you look at, we're on an AB 15. If you look at AB SOS 2041, that is very comparable to what we currently have, and it's less expensive. The difference is with an SOS, it's site on service. So in other words, people from here could not go to Huggins. They'd have to go to either Rochester, we could check where else, Concord, to have their labs and their MRIs and that kind of thing done. So it's very comparable and a good price compared to what we have, but then you've got to do the point of service. And that's the biggest difference, she said. She used to be the town manager in Wakefield, and so she uses someone out of Rochester. I know Jack uses Governor Douglas Wentworth, and he's very pleased with him, but that means we would have to go either down there, unless I can find another one, find out if there's any more in the area. Huggins is not part of the point of service.
I use the one over in Meredith, which is part of LIGH Concord Hospital.
Yeah, and I don't know if Concord's part of it. So if you decide to go with that one or consider that, then I'll have to do some research on where our employees can go.
And currently, the town pays 100% of
They
employees?
do,
No, with no contribution.
correct.
Okay,
Okay, just for,
next item on the agenda is Chief Shigori completed a course, and Abby Gillis completed a course. We've got a memo in here on the Tahoe, 2020 Tahoe, striking a deer. Cops Pond Emergency Action Plan is in here, we already chatted a little bit about that. a wetlands permit, which I've got in my hand for somebody, a dock, on 40 Barber Falls Road. Letter from the YMCA Camp Belknap, who gave us $4,200 in a payment in lieu of taxes. We've got a Tufnboro Free Library financial report for the last, I think, 3 months. New Hampshire DES dam reconstruction application, that's on the Cops Pond Dam. Robertson Green, these are, I've audited our financial statements and have finished the audit for remaining fund. Each major fund, the aggregate remaining fund information of the town of Tufton as of the end of 2021. So we have that, which will give us our undesignated fund balance. CDBG status report is on the water system at North Country Village. Fire department created a vehicle list because I'm trying to establish or teach one of our budget people how to fish. And so how much does it cost to run a fire department? So I'm putting in an aging schedule on the vehicle list, and that as well as budget numbers for a member of the budget committee. The letter of health trust benefits sitting in front of you. Various emails from Phil Bennett, so we need to get him back in here probably within the month of November. Maybe we'll bring him in on election day.
Okay.
Right. Okay, because that'll give us a little time. My sister Alana has put together a bunch of solar resources that the Hampshire Electric Co-op uses for larger installations. Also, she met with their new CEO at coffee at 19 Mile Bay. And we would be the first municipality owned solar installation. And that gives us an opportunity to really discuss payment rates. You know, what's the co-op gonna pay us? We don't generally use a lot of power after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And the rate of return for power generation is higher between 4 and 8.
It's gonna be beneficial to us.
Yeah, so that discussion needs to happen. Solid waste and disposal agreement. It's the first I've heard of that. So that would be with Turnkey.
Commonly known as waste management.
I'm sorry, waste management. Yeah, okay, so this is that. We should become familiar with this, and let's put this on the list of things to vote for or against next Monday. Okay, Karen?
Do we have that in electric format? You can email it to me so I can read it at my leisure.
Mm-mm. I don't know who put that in my box.
I don't either.
Would you kindly scan it and
Mm-hmm.
send it to me?
And then last but not least, we have a copy of Gravestone's repair this year by the
By Ms. Jessica Dean.
yeah.
Just a, for your information kind of thing from the cemetery trustees.
Yeah.
She does good work.
Well, that was a very nice presentation.
Yep. That's what we get every year.
It's a very, very detailed invoice, per se.
Yes.
And I took the time and read every single one of them. And it's cool, very good.
Well, I got a food in 15 minutes, guys. So I just want to run through this. Selectmen's updates.
I didn't have any meetings last week, so no, I don't have any updates.
I need a non-public.
You want to meet in non-public?
I have to. I'm presuming it's about personnel.
Okay, so you want a non-public
Right now,
right now?
yes.
Okay, we'll make a motion.
Make a motion to go non-public for personnel. I don't know all the numbers for 91A, but I'm sure Cammy can figure it out.
Okay,
Second,
Quick.
okay. All
Mike, aye?
Murray, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold it, hold it, hold it.
We all voted yes.
Yes.
She got to show.
Okay.
I spent considerable time compiling information and going over the Willand Road betterment taxes with the disgruntled abutter, and it seemed to have him at least calmed down to the point, and the tax collector offered him a way to relieve his burden a bit. So I'm hoping that we have no more issues with that.
This is Alan Dubay.
No, it's not.
Don't fall into the Carolyn Sundquist problem.
Nope. Nope, I only provided him with information. Nothing,
Okay, don't make any,
didn't do it.
okay.
Nothing you can get us with. Believe me, I know that.
It's easy to fall into that.
Yes, it
Be
is.
Careful.
All right, that's all I have.
Well, what's the,
The beef?
no, the solution, I know what the beef is.
Oh,
What's this proposed,
well, the tax collector suggested to him that he put the massive amount of land that he's not using in current use, which would lower his overall tax bill and offset the $1,000 a year he has to pay for the better means. And he's didn't, after being here for many, probably longer than you, actually longer than you, he didn't know about current use, so.
Well, that's because he's on the wrong side of the road.
That's right.
I don't get that.
Okay, so anyway, no, I'm done.
Okay.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, I met with the budget committee, you knew that, both
Yep.
of you were here.
Yep.
I talked about my sister's thing with solar.
that was nice of her to put that letter together, by the way. It was nice of her to put that letter together.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
and
we've
provide,
had-
express the
Been up
interest.
there finishing Graham's shed, and we've had lunch a couple of times.
One of the people that she put down though is no longer, New England, New Hampshire Solar, and New England Solar Garden, they're done.
But the point of it was, we need a contact at New Hampshire Electric Co-op, so one of us, or all of us, or some of us can go and visit and get some more information on who they use, what's the setup. Are we better off doing one at the transfer station where it's 3-phase and we can put as much power into the system as we want? Or are we better off with 3 for whatever billing issues or creation issues or safety issues? We just need some advice. I think one is going to be the way to go, and I think we actually, being a municipality, we could put one up there that would,
We could do bigger than what she designed.
right, we could do conceivably for every resident in town.
Right.
And we could qualify for that, we don't have space enough out there for it, but, or I don't know that we wanna spend that kind of money.
Right.
But we could be totally energy independent here in Tuftonboro, which I think would be great, except for then everybody would wanna move here, which wouldn't be great.
Right. I think we should at least cover 100% of the town's
Yeah,
uses,
definitely.
not 82 or 83% or whatever she said.
Yeah, I think that's about it for me. So I'm gonna ask for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye. Yeah, she didn't go all that badly considering. About 20 minutes longer than